it does say in here you're not much of a talker. Yeah, look, I know these UNSC health and wellness checks are no fun, John, but it's good to process some of the tough stuff you've experienced on the battlefield. The UNSC was only able to provide me with estimates, but why don't we take a look at some of what you've seen in combat? There was the nuke you detonated on Sigma Octanus 4, where it says here you wiped out countless Covenant lives. When you destroyed Installation 4, there were thousands of Covenant and countless Flood that remained on the ring and died. And there's the Prometheans, of course, who, with the Havoc nuke, you killed well over 1 million of, who were sorry, you killed, well over 1 billion who were still on the Didact ship. Ooh, 1 billion. Oh, that's a lot of death. You know, nobody likes to do these wellness checks. How about we make a deal? I'll let you out of here and give you a perfect score if you take your helmet off and show me what you're hiding under that mask of yours. That's right, and this meeting is completely confidential, so no one will ever know this ever happened. Oh, that's really on there, isn't it? Wait, what the fuck? Doom guy? Did Master Chief put you up to this? Hey, welcome to the show, guys. Today I'm reviewing Halo Infinite. It's a bit of a return to Halo for me as well. I played every Halo up until 4 and then transitioned exclusively to PC. I borrowed a friend's Xbox to play 4 and ended up never playing 5, so I was super excited to do my homework and get caught up on what I had missed since then, story-wise, and even more excited that 343 was finally bringing Halo to PC. I knew it was coming eventually with the recent ports of the Master Chief Collection, but to finally play a new, modern Halo on PC has just been incredible. I just finished the campaign in around 25 hours, doing almost all the side quests, and have been playing a ton of multiplayer. So let's get into it. Halo Infinite. Yo, thanks for joining me, guys. And going into Halo Infinite, I couldn't help but have super high expectations. I grew up on everything Bungie put out before they passed the torch to 343 Studios. All the campaigns and co-op, all the multiplayers, and of course, the unforgettable Halo LAN parties. Halo dominated my game time back in the day, and all those memories and experiences were just formative, to say the least. On top of all those memories and incredible games that I felt Infinite would have to live up to, 343 was also marketing a return to the franchise's roots and even making some gameplay changes that sounded a little bit risky, but also very intriguing. I'm gonna cover everything, and I'm super excited to do so because not only did they create a Halo that taps into some of the original's brilliance, but they took it even further, making Infinite its own unique experience. So let's dig into it, starting with its gameplay. Halo Infinite brings one major change to its typical gameplay loop that delivered a Halo experience I've always wanted. It's an open world, guys, which not only is a welcome direction for a franchise that since the beginning has provided awesome linear gameplay, but it taps into something special that Combat Evolved delivered and that even differentiated it from every preceding Halo title. That feeling of being on the Halo ring, the mystery and eerie sci-fi vibe, and even the looming intimidation of the ring's power and purpose mixed with its striking beauty. That feeling, it's something I experienced the first time landing on Installation 4, and although every title since has tapped into that to some degree, none have been able to exceed it until now. Before I get too gushy about how much I love the open world design, I do want to critique it a bit first, because despite all the positives, there are a few drawbacks. The game takes place on a damaged Halo ring where you traverse across several large chunks that have splintered from the main ring. Each chunk has a ton of different side quests and secrets to find and Spartan upgrades to acquire. Most are optional and most are fun, but somewhere between half and 3/4 of the way through the campaign, I did find the repetitive nature of completing the side quests in particular a bit stale. The combat and getting around the world, that was never the problem. But with all the missions and things you get to do in the world, it was just missing some sort of connection to the overall world or even the story. There's a few different types of side quests. You can kill banished soldiers that are wanted by the UNFC, you can destroy propaganda towers, shut down a banished fortress, or even help to save UNSC soldiers that are actively in combat. They were all excellent in the beginning, but as I progressed through the game, it lost its meaning for me outside of me feeling compelled to complete everything I could. Now, completing these isn't just all for kicks either. By freeing certain locations called FOBs, it gets converted to a UNSC base where you can resupply and spawn vehicles, and some of the fortresses do end up being story-centric locations. Overall though, it really needed a bigger connection. It would have made finishing all the side quests feel way more meaningful. I also would have liked some puzzles in the game, which may sound a bit weird for a Halo game, but hear me out. They wouldn't have to be complicated puzzles, and with all the mystery and the symbolic nature of the Forerunners, who left behind such a mixture of futuristic sci-fi tech and design, mixed with ancient ruins and structures, set in an open world, it's a gameplay element that to me would have added way more life to its character and made it way more fun to play. Alright, outside of those gripes, I did really love the open world design, guys. It tightened up and got linear during story-driven sections perfectly. The set pieces and environments were beautiful and fun to fight in. And being open world, it was fun as hell to pick a place to explore or a mission to go complete and choose what vehicle I wanted to use to get there. If I wanted to bring Marines with me or go at it solo. Or if I just wanted to explore, which was always rewarding no matter where I went. The Spartan abilities really boosted the gameplay here as well. You can deploy a shield anywhere you want to take cover on the battlefield. You can use a thruster to be more mobile and effective in combat. You can shoot a threat sensor that will reveal invisible enemies or enemy locations around corners. You get to upgrade and boost your Mjolnir shield, and you get a grapple shot, guys. They're all dope and can all get upgraded, but the grapple shot is by far the coolest addition that completely changes the gameplay in some incredible ways. Firstly, you can be super creative in combat by using it to maneuver around or directly at enemies. You can also use it to get around the map, which is just fun as hell. A lot of the time, I would forgo taking a vehicle somewhere altogether simply because I could grapple my way across the map by daisy chaining through the trees or Spider-Manning my way across the side of a cliff. It's a major boost to the gameplay overall, and you get it right from the start, which is awesome. Boss fights are way more of a focus in Infinite as well, which helped enrich its open world experience, and although they don't differentiate themselves too much in terms of how to kill one from the other, they are fun, and with all your new Spartan abilities, presented a good challenge that made getting through the game really rewarding. And with all these changes and additions, I was really impressed with how well it still felt like a Halo game. The movement and weapons, the AI and vehicles. Sure, some of it feels a tad bit dated. The Warthog still bounces around like a bouncy ball, and I desperately wanted to do some sort of Doom-style glory kill on the banished enemies, but Despite all the new stuff and desires for more, it feels and plays like a Halo, with the added bonus of its open world, which for me made for one hell of a Halo experience. I'm giving gameplay 4 out of 5 stars. Graphics are next, and there's a lot of things I love and a lot of things that I wasn't very impressed with. I loved the lighting and the beautiful contrasting landscapes where the Halo Ring's exposed foundation pillars would provide this metallic and reflective surface against its more natural, foresty and rocky environments. Then there were a lot of things that looked dated, like some of the facial animations, or creepy eyeballs during cutscenes, or some of the landscape features that looked straight out of 1997 with how hard and straight their edges were. All that is a bit of a mixed bag, but going beyond it, the game really does succeed at being a gorgeous and immersive world. Its wide open design is filled with peaks and valleys, with Forerunner installations and banished fortresses. The game also has a real-time sun path system where its daily arc not only provides an awesome day and night cycle, but the sunrises and sunsets are just stunning. Something about summiting a peak in between missions and getting surprised by a beautiful sunrise as the Halo Ring's silhouette ascends up into space with the sun glare from behind it. It's some damn good shit and made being in the world a Halo experience I've never had before and want way more of. I'm giving graphics 4 out of 5 stars. Audio's up next, and the first thing I want to talk about is the voice acting. Not only do you get to hear more from Master Chief, albeit still very brief, his one-liners are as badass as ever, and it was just cool to get more dialogue from him that complemented his character and the scenes. Every other character delivered excellent performances as well, and my favorite, without a doubt, is the main banished antagonist named Escharum. Just listen to this shit, guys.
UNSC lost this war months ago. Your people are broken, scattered, hunted, defeated by me.
It's so brutal and metal and badass. His inspiring speeches to fellow Banished and his shit talk to Master Chief was absolutely epic. And it really complemented the story, making him my all-time favorite enemy in any Halo game. Sound effects are all excellent, but I want to talk about the music, guys. I've always loved how Halos have continuously drawn inspiration from the original's theme and main tracks, but Infinite takes that a step further by sounding more like Halo 1 and 2, but making them sound even cooler. The theme song alone is phenomenal. Almost every time I jumped in, I just sit and listen to it all the way through, thinking about where I was at in the game and what I was gonna do next. Then there's the gameplay and cinematic tracks, which made it dynamic and emotional in all the right ways at all the right times. Absolutely incredible, guys. I'm giving audio 5 out of 5 stars. The story's up next, and I want to start by saying that not only did I love Halo 4 and its epic conclusion, but I never played Halo 5. And honestly, I'm glad I didn't. I'm not going to get into details to avoid spoilers, but what I'll say is, for me personally, Halo Infinite did provide adequate resolution where I feel they made some huge character and story mistakes. I still hate what they did, but they cleaned things up nicely here and ended up using that resolution to set the stage for a new set of supporting characters that I really do like. There's also a major focus on Master Chief here, which I loved. His experience is front and center, and they did an awesome job portraying what makes him tick and why. The supporting cast works in tandem with him as well to both establish themselves as new cool characters helping him in his fight, while also really diving in and processing some of Master Chief's grief and struggle to trust and heal as they work together throughout the game. And there's some really cool character and relationship building that goes down, guys. It got me in the feels more than a couple times, and they balanced all that really well with Master Chief's more rigid and badass nature. I did find some of the story a bit clunky and confusing at times, particularly around the setup of a secondary antagonist you encounter in the game that clearly will play a big part in future titles. Overall though, they did an excellent job wrapping up past issues, showcasing Master Chief and his new squad, while setting up future events that I'm really excited to play through in the next one. I'm giving story 4 out of 5 stars. Settings are up, and despite a couple things being hard to find or that just aren't 100% right, you do get a really comprehensive set of options here. Starting with the key rebinds, which were perfect. You can rebind WASD, ESDF, and mouse and numpad without issue. Video and graphics are top-notch as well. Under video, you get all the standard stuff, along with an FOV slider that goes up to 120 and ultra-wide screen support, which is great. One of the tricky options to find is here as well. If you want to change the brightness, you'll find that dial under screen calibration, where you can access by pressing R. Graphic settings are next, and you get a ton of settings to tweak for performance or quality. Audio's next, and this was perfect as well. You get a master of voice, music, sound effects, and a bunch of other dials to tweak here, which is awesome. And below, you get some hardware and comms options. Lastly, are gameplay options, which are mostly good. There's colorblind modes for multiplayer, but unfortunately not for the campaign, so I did ding them a bit here. However, you do get an extensive list of HUD, text, visual and screen effect options under both UI and accessibility, which is great. If I were to be picky, which I'm gonna be, a benchmark option to test different graphical configurations would have been awesome here as well, but overall, you get some great options. I'm giving settings 5 out of 5 stars. Let's give it a final score, guys. And Halo Infinite does an excellent job making big changes to the franchise's gameplay loop while still achieving that Halo feel that I love. The new open world design definitely has some big missed opportunities, but the combat, the new Spartan abilities, the audio, and the story, all that combined, you guys, is just so damn good. And like I mentioned, I have never felt like I was truly on a Halo ring like I did here. I'm giving Halo Infinite 4 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it, even if you're not a fan of open world games, because it's intentionally designed to allow players who don't want to spend the time exploring or doing all the side quests or climbing every peak in the game just to take in that beautiful evening sunset on the ring's horizon. You can easily focus on the main quests only without missing any of its awesome story. Guys, thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the review, give me a like below. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and bell button to join me for all my future reviews. Check out my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. There's gonna be a link that pops up right here. I could really use your support and would love to have you part of my community. Happy holidays to you and your families. I hope you guys have an awesome new year, and I will see you on the next Grim's Garage. Peace.